to Sonia's Book Talk. It's August 2017. We're at the Stickney-Forest View Public Library, where I try to talk about a few books each month that maybe you haven't heard of, that hopefully maybe you'll be interested in. I try to do a variety and put them together in a theme. So today's theme is young protagonists. You can also kind of put it in the coming of age category, but these are on the young side. They're 12 and 13. So my last coming of age I did, I think, last year. That book talk had some older teens, young adults. But this one today, I wanted to talk about three of my books that I really liked, actually. So some of them are my favorites. So I will start off with the Starlightdrivin by Marjorie Reynolds. So this one takes place in the 1950s, which I love that time period. The girl, Callie Ann, is 12 years old in the summer of 1956, and a stranger comes to town. This drifter, this James Dean type guy, comes to work at the drive-in where her dad also works. So her dad runs the projection and stuff at the drive-in, and she's thinking back to the summer when this James Dean character came to town and kind of gets involved with her family. Her mom is like a recluse. Her mom is having this agoraphobia, I think they call, where she never leaves the house. She had like she has like this phobia. So Callie's mom is just kind of just stays in the house, and so this stranger kind of comes, and then a relationship builds, but the dad is not happy about that. So I just love a young protagonist. Think To Kill a Mockingbird. That's one of the most famous young protagonists. You get that innocent voice that observes the world around them, and there's just that unique perspective that I really love. So I don't want to say anything more about this, but it's not a very well-known book, but I really loved it, and if that sounds good to you, come on in and pick it up. One of my favorites. Okay, I'll go with this one next, The Bartender's Tale by Ivan Doig. Now this is a 12-year-old boy in 1960, and he lives with his dad. His dad is the bartender, and they have a very close relationship. And also in this book, a stranger comes to town, a girl comes to town who becomes friends with the young boy, Rusty. And again, it's very nostalgic because the the narrator is looking back at this time in 1960, and times are simpler then. And what really happened with his mom is the question, is one of the questions that the young protagonist has to deal with. And there's also this woman that comes into his dad's life that kind of shakes things up and takes time away from Rusty, and he's kind of jealous. He wants his dad all to himself and go fishing and do their things like that. So this one was just very charming. I've talked about Ivan Doig's, one of his other books, one of my book talks, because he's a really good writer and really nostalgic and writes the young protagonist very well. So I recommend this one. Okay, and finally, Swamplandia by Karen Russell. So in this one, the girl is 13. Ava comes from a very quirky family, because they're like a circus performing family. They are alligator wrestlers. And so they're in Florida, and in this summer, this is the 1980s, one summer the mom actually dies. And then it opens up like that. I'm not spoiling. So this whole quirky family now has to figure out what they're going to do without their mom, who is the main attraction. And this has a very unique setting. You can really get the sense of place in this one, the hot Florida Everglades. You're in the heat. Ava's older brother goes to town to try to make some money. Ava is basically, she and her sister, who's a teenager also, they are kind of on their own, trying to just keep things together. So her voice, again, she's very intelligent, smart, very observant, 13-year-old, and that was one of the delightful things about this book is her voice. It does get a little dark. It does get a little, I want to say, some people say magical realism. I think it's just more the sister kind of goes a little crazy. That was my opinion. I don't know if there is something more to it. You might read it and decide for yourself. But basically, Ava ends up going to look for her sister who disappears, and she gets on a boat with this guy who is kind of shady, but she's going to find her sister. So she's going on a journey. See how it. I won't give any more away, so you'll have to read it and see what happens. So there you have it, 3 young protagonists, which like I said, I really love reading about. I hope one of these books sounded interesting to you and you might want to come in and pick them up. And thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the Stickney-Forest View Public Library's YouTube channel. Also, like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Stickney-Forest View Public Library District, where great things happen.